trying to hold my breath, let it stay this way, can't let this moment end. You set off a dream, getting louder now, can you hear it echoing? Take my hand, will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Half the gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough.
to, we can start doing refreshments. We're going to have like the service a little bit after that, not too much. So if you want to get something to eat in between, that's fine. And thank you for living on life.
You're asking
Yeah.
Perfect.
Come over.
So you just
Good afternoon. Um, for those who don't know me, I'm Chuck. I'm Jenny Wong's husband. And some people say I'm never without words. So what I'd like to do today is I want us to do what we've been trying to do, is not think of Jenny as gone, but think of her of through her life and pictures. I've got three words that come to mind when I think of Jenny: love, life, and travel. And when you think of those things, you think about where she's been, who she's touched, and she's touched everybody, no matter directly or indirectly. We felt that it's more appropriate, instead of having someone who didn't know her to start talking, is to have different people to come up and share some words. I'd like to share some different thoughts, and also think about like some different stories about Jenny, but I'm not going to go too long because people say I talk too much. But when we saw, hopefully when everyone saw the pictures, you really thought about the good things, and that's what we need to always think about. She's in a better place. God has got another angel up there. And having another angel is like the most important piece, because that angel has touched everybody one way or the other in this room. And we're all blessed and better people for having that happen. Just from the pictures, from where we are right now, we shouldn't have sadness, because she's not sad anymore. We should be accepting what she brought to us and think about the good times and the most important pieces. I still think of Jenny saying, "You talk too damn much." And I would say, you're right, you do too. But also think about the other pieces that brought Jenny love. She loved her family. And one thing I said to people is, like, when she passed away and she actually left, everybody was supposed to be where they were. And she wanted it that way because she wants everyone to have that same memory of her the way she was supposed to be. And I'd like to say, have a little prayer, if that's okay. If everyone can bow their heads. Lord, please bless Jenny on her travels as she goes up towards your bosom. Also, please help us to accept that and be happy with knowing that we've met her, or that she's touched us throughout our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, I also would like to do this. I want to give some time for other people to actually talk. Like I said, I talk a lot. But to actually share some of their thoughts, and like little anecdotes and things that I think are important for us to capture. Is that okay? So, who would like to come up? Please feel free. Chris.
I actually have to write down some notes here. So I've known Chuck for 20 years. We were talking yesterday, and I couldn't quite get that around my head, that we'd actually known each other that long. And I knew Jenny for just about as long. So it's really cool to kind of talk about this. And when I met Jenny, I thought, what an amazing force of nature. I think people have used that word for her before. All wrapped up in this little package, right? And we all know that she knew what she liked, she knew what she didn't like. She could be very vocal about that, very emotive about that. Me and my ex were at your wedding.
Yes.
It was such a beautiful night. Those pictures were gorgeous. I remember that so well. You were like king and queen of the canals in Fort Lauderdale. That might have been the night when I first started to get to know Jenny. And the force of nature, right? And I remember how beautiful you two were, and how that night kind of brought out the beauty in all of us. And Jenny was good at that. She was good at bringing people's beauty out, bringing their sense of fun out. But friendship with Jenny was a force of nature. As you know, probably being married was a force of nature. And when, the course of our friendship, we sort of, we kind of swapped friends. You know, we hung out with some of yours, you hung out with some of ours. But this is what I'm leading up to. But it's a reminder, you know, that people are connectors, and we shouldn't hesitate to connect people like Jenny did. And it's a reminder that we should not be afraid to connect people. And we all know sometimes there are people in our lives that just rub us the wrong way. Okay, and it happens, right? So one of my friends had that effect on Jenny. I think I know yeah. He's over there nodding, he does know. But this is really a story about Jenny's loyalty and her willingness to defend those that she loved, right? So let's just say this friend of our side always had to be taken with a grain of salt, always, okay? He could take rudeness to a level you've never seen it before. You know, he was a dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker, survived the AIDS crisis, you know, sniffed coke with Warhol and, you know, Studio 54. And of course, you know, that still doesn't make him agreeable to everybody, right? So my ex and I had people over, and I don't remember specifically what it was. But he had gotten flower arrangements and, you know, put them nicely in the, you know, in our place. And you two were there, and our friend in question was there. And, but it all looked great, and I remember that we all had cocktails, and Jenny was sitting sort of on the side of a credenza, and my friend and I were standing over her. And she said, you know, oh, the flowers look great. And our friend kind of gave his very typical kind of duck face, and he said, yeah, they leave a lot to be desired. And I immediately remember the look on Jenny's face, because her eyes went up to me and back to him, and she sort of got off the chair, and she was like, and I was like, not now. You know? I think she did get to tell him off a couple of times, which is great. You know, I think it just proves her as a steadfast loyalty, loyalty to her friends. But she was gentle, and she had empathy. She understood where people were coming from. And I can't remember how many times I told her my problems, and I either got advice, and it was great, you know? So that's what goes with me, right? The force of nature, who understood. And, you know, in my belief, I think life is energy, and I know that her amazing energy has gone to another place, as Chuck said. But I love you, Jenny. I never doubted your friendship and loyalty, and I'll miss you. But I know that energy will continue to generate good wherever it is. So it's kind of bye for now, my friends. We'll meet again, maybe not in the same terms, but we can laugh, eat, drink together, have a good time, and look forward to what's coming in the future. But I know that she's there to kind of guide me, and that helps me sleep at night. So for now, I just say, rest easy, Queen.
Hello, I'm Holly, friend of Jenny, friend of Chuck. You loved your orchids, some of your prized possessions. So to write this, I took to the internet and started researching and found this passage about orchids. I quote, "While orchids mean thoughtfulness, beauty, charm, and love, they're the perfect bloom to celebrate all of life's precious moments. With a wide array of colors to choose from, the orchid is nothing short of special," end quote. And that was what you were to me, Jenny. Nothing short of special. Our friendship was just a few precious years, but we connected solidly when we first met. Maybe we knew we wouldn't have much time together. We had a blast at your milestone birthday party. Meeting for tea at Starbucks, laughing over Chinese food, our phone calls, our long phone calls, our silly text marathons where you'd always recommend the best comedy specials on Netflix. I'll remember all of these things. I will remember you. You were right, Jenny, when you told me that we met too late. We didn't have enough time together. Or perhaps we did, because as a person of faith, I know we will see each other again. We'll see each other again in a beautiful garden amongst the orchids.
That's okay, you heard that
Sorry.
right.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Karen, Jenny's cousin. This is what she did for me, what she's done for me, and continues to do for me in my life. Jenny unknowingly followed the footsteps of her mom, Gloria, as both of them were the firstborn, as my mom and I are the ones to follow. We shared our toddler years, then separated for a few years, till Jenny, Henry, and Mom came to live with us and my parents in the U.S. Growing up with Chinese customs and high expectations was a lot of responsibility for Jenny to carry at such a young age. She took care of me and Henry.
Got this.
Growing up in Hialeah. We grew up as sisters, and although we had some differences in our sense of fashions, personalities, and outlook on life, we had many years making memories to last us a lifetime. In high school, you and Henry moved away with your mom. We stayed in contact, but not as we should have. I do regret the years I missed out of sharing your ups and downs due to the lives of others, which made us lose touch for 15 plus years. I know we all went through lots of obstacles, heartaches, and triumphs, but I never stopped loving you. But I am blessed that we both had the opportunity to reconnect and make amends with each other. You became my best friend, confidant, never judged me, and you were the one who made me believe and love myself again. Taught me to be a little selfish and pursue my wants one step at a time, and making me realize that I can't save the world, and for that I'll always be grateful. I know that you'll continue to be by my side, and when I fall back, you'll be rolling your eyes, shaking your head at me with a smile. I miss and forever carry you in my heart, my sister from another mom and dad. I live with a broken heart because I'll never again receive a text or call from you just to shoot the breeze or telling me that although you had a rough night, that you're okay, and for me to stop freaking out because I hadn't heard from you in a day or two. I'll miss you planning our meals together for my next visit, but I do have peace and comfort within me because you are no longer in pain. You're shopping, watching our favorite cheesy shows, and eating chicharrón without me. I also know that you're happier being with your dad, whom you lost at an early age and have missed for so long. You've given me hope to stay strong and follow your footsteps, to continue to fight for myself and remember your words of wisdom. And like Chuck always says, till the wheels fall off. I'll always carry you in my heart, but that void of losing my sister and confidant will never be filled. Jenny, I love you forever. Rest in peace.
I need my glasses. My name is Gabby, and I met Jenny over 20 years ago. We were around that age, I believe. When we were actually both working at a call center while we were going to college. That was the same place where we also met our husbands-to-be, which we will call los tipos in the regular basis when we just didn't want to deal with them. They were loud, and they both spoke a lot. She was a good friend. She was a part of my family. She was at birthday parties. She was at family reunions. She was my grandma's other granddaughter, because she adored her. She was a loving godmother to my daughter, Samantha. And a very loyal wife to Chuck, and a motherly sister to Henry, which he always wanted to keep in check. Very importantly, she was also a great cook, and she loved to feed people. Oh, goodness. She was also an artistic soul. As you all know, she loved to travel and take pictures. And she was a foodie who always knew the good spot to find. Life took us in different paths at times, but some way and somehow we always came back to the same path, or something brought us together, and it was like it had never stopped. We could just pick up and keep going, even though some time had gone by. Jenny, my darling, this is not a goodbye. This is a thank you. A thank you for coming to all of our lives. A thank you for teaching us so much. And I guess until we eat dim sum again in a better place, we'll see each other soon.
Hello, my name is Eric Ello. I'm one of the other Tepos. Am I saying that right, babe? Tipos, thank you. So, I've known this guy and Jenny for over 24 years. I had Jenny in my new hire class along with my wife at one point. So all you out there in the L&D community, a shout out to you all. And like you all, I've been thinking a lot about Jenny over the last weeks, especially today. And I was thinking so much so going, what would my life have been like without Jenny Wong Brooks in it? Well, without Jenny, I wouldn't have met, fallen in love, and married my beautiful wife. I would not have experienced the joys of fatherhood, raising two great kids. My daughter would not have had the pleasure and privilege and honor of having such a wonderful person as her godmother. I would have been standing alone at some bar and some table while my wife and Chuck were cutting it up on the dance floor, because Jenny and I, we had definitely one thing in common. We had a lot of things in common, but she had two left feet and did not like to dance. So the two dancers are Chuck and my wife Gabby. Jenny and I would sit at the table. We would talk. We would make fun of Chuck and Gabby, and you know, so I definitely miss those times. It was mentioned here before by some of you that Jenny was an accomplished cook. She went to culinary school, and a highlight for me for every 4th of July was Jenny coming with this big American flag cake in her hands that she must have spent hours putting together. And she was an awesome cook, an awesome and wonderful person. When I think of Jenny, thinking of 3 different words, I think of poise, I think of elegance, I think of class. You know, she had a reserve about her, but it was always classy and elegant. I never saw a bad side of Jenny. She was a wonderful person. And I could go on, but each of you have your own stories to tell, and I don't want to take any of your time up. I will just say that I feel honored and privileged and lucky to have had Jenny Wong in my life, because all of those things wouldn't have happened. And each of us have someone that, if you really think about it, wow, what an impact on my life. And I'm so blessed to have had Jenny and Chuck both in my life, the truest of true friends. And with that, God bless you, Jenny. God rest your soul. And like everyone here, I look forward to seeing you again one day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dawn Dawson. I met Jenny through my husband, and he used to work with Chuck. And the moment that I met Jenny, everything was like light. Her light shined so much. It's just so encompassing. And it was like an instant friendship. I think everybody here knows how she just always knew how to connect with you, and on a real level, not like chit-chatting kind of person. It was just like a real sincere love that came from her. And I think that has also something to do that she was very grounded, and that's why she loved orchids and the beauty that they came when they grew, and every time that they would die and come back again, they would have a new life and bring more love and happiness. And every time that I see an orchid, I think of Jenny. And I brought the orchid from my house because we planted orchids all over our house because of Jenny. And I just remember like going out with Chuck and Alex, Jenny, to like the Miami Heat games, and she wasn't a real drinker, but she would always have these ideas of like bringing alcohol in like toothpaste bottles so we can sneak it in. And even to like movie theaters, she's always like, Dawn, let's add this to it. And so we have been blamed, well, I have been blamed for getting her drunk, which I don't remember, but apparently we had a great time. Also going to like DVB concerts, and she might not have liked to dance too much, but she loved to see people dance and enjoy themselves and have a great time. Like she just couldn't get enough of having that joy in a room or in an atmosphere, and just like feeling the energy of everybody just like letting all their cares drop and enjoy being human with other people. And that I will forever feel blessed that she was a part of my life. And I do plan to see her again. And I know that her soul is vibrating on this earth and throughout the universe, and it's going to keep on to fill our hearts with love. So don't be sad that she's not here with us. It was just a vessel. Her body is just a vessel, and her soul is going to go on forever in our hearts. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to say something? Here.
My name is Guillermo, and I came with my beautiful wife, Miriam. So we knew Jenny for about 15 years. And when we think all this time, she was always, like everybody says before, happiness, light, and this is the way we remember her. And she will be in our hearts forever. So every time that we want to see her, we can talk to anybody that knew her, and we always think on her because she will be in the hearts. So when we first met her, it took 5 seconds to feel like we knew her for like forever. It was something natural. So that's the way she was. And we always, with Miriam, we found that she was a happy person. But she was a happy person for many things. And one thing was her love for Chuck, and vice versa. They were, always together. They traveled all the world, all over. And they were sharing a life and everything that you can share with a person that goes through life. But I have to mention something that is amazing. The past 10 years, she was really sick, and she was an angel, but he is also an angel, because he was taking care of her every single day for 10 years. So that means they were not together only for the good, for the happiness, for the travel, for the food. They were together when things were not so good. And Chuck is as angel, and she is. So she will be forever in our hearts.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Bill, and I work with Chuck here. And, my wife and I moved down to Florida from the Chicago area in 2018, and we were excited about starting new life here and joining Polyglass, where I met Chuck almost right away. But we were saddened, of course, about leaving. We have a lot of friends and family back home. And so whenever we made new friends, it was very special. So met Chuck and became, anyone who knows Chuck knows he's very easy to get to know. He's even easier to really get to love. And shortly after I met Jenny, and I told Chuck at the time when there was a day several years ago where Chuck and I participated in a charity event, a 5K event called Dolphin Cancer Charities at Hard Rock Stadium that our company is involved with. And Chuck picked me up. He had a wonderful day, and even came all the way back to pick up my wife and I later on, and Jenny, because Jenny really wanted to go to this world's greatest burger competition. There was this burger contest, and she was so excited about it. And we went, and we spent the day with Chuck and Jenny, and it was I told Chuck it's one of the best days I've had down here, and it always will be. And afterwards, we drove and we listened to music and went to some casinos, and we just had a wonderful time. And she was so happy, and I'm glad I've gotten to know her, and of course gotten to know Chuck. And recently I just went back home for the wedding of my niece, and listening to the wedding vows, I think people kind of are so used to them, they don't really give them enough thought. But my favorite line, because I think it's just so important, is the in sickness and in health, to stay, to be loyal and true to that person to the end. And Chuck is a wonderful, wonderful example of fulfilling that vow. So, Jenny, you'll be missed. We love you. And Chuck, we love you too.
Anyone else?
Hi. Hi, my name is Guillermo. I first met Jenny through Henry, her brother. We met back in junior high, back in the 80s. A long time ago. A long time ago. I'm talking way over there. Became good friends, and he introduced me to his he introduced me to his family. I got to see her mom, stepdad. I love you very much. And just hit it off, and then just years went by, and we had to separate. Henry had to go do his thing, Jenny had to do her own life, I had to do my own thing. And then by chance, thank God to my sister Giselle, which I'm very thankful that you were trying to help me find my friends. And by chance, Jenny found the it down, pack it down, pack it down. She goes,
they're both.
"You need that?" I go, "Go right ahead." You know that? My kids know what happened with Jenny. They also know that we care for her. I'm just gonna miss her. I know she's no longer in pain. That's the main for me, that she's no longer in pain. And she's much happier where she will be right now in life. But I'm gonna miss her very much. Okay. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share something? If not, I actually have like a couple funny Jenny stories that I'd like to share on some of those trips. The first time we went to Japan, I made a promise to Jenny, which I broke, which I said, we get to Kyoto, Japan, and we want to go to the shopping arcade. And that's like a shopping center where we can see all these things. And Jenny liked to look and look at food and look at things like that. I guess you've already heard she's a big foodie. So we get there and I said, look, we're going to take a taxi back because it was about 3 miles away. So I was so entranced by being in Japan the first time, we started walking and she said, aren't we getting a taxi? I said, look, we're going to get a taxi. We kept walking. 400 yards. Getting a taxi? Yeah, we're going to get a taxi. Half a mile. You're going to get a taxi? Yeah, we're going to get a taxi really soon. A mile. I didn't know that that little Asian woman could yell so loud, and she started cursing me in a foreign country, and I thought, to be honest with you, they're going to arrest me and probably shoot me for her yelling. So I started walking faster. As I walked faster, she said, why are you getting away from me? I said, catch up. So as this is happening, we had our little disagreement, and we came back and we made a pact. So what I said to her is like, okay, I promise this time, how's this? We'll take a taxi up and walk back. And she said, okay, that's a good compromise. Now, the next year we go back, here's what Jenny did, because she didn't want that to happen again. Jenny got on the treadmill every single day, and she walked 3 miles. So the next time we went, here's what Jenny did. Actually, I hurt my foot or something, and she's like, catch up. And I'm like, okay. Payback, and that was fair enough. So I always think about Jenny with that. And the thing she loved about Japan with the food is because the food was always, if you couldn't speak the language or read the hiragana or katakana, they had pictures. And she said, can you steal one? I said, steal? It's like, find one of those pictures, those little pieces of fruit or whatever, and bring it back. It's like, well, I don't know if they'll take it. But she wanted to have the plastic food. So another one really cracks me up about Jenny is, I don't know if you knew this, I taught Jenny how to shoot a handgun. And some of you may know, like I taught her how to shoot a handgun. So the first time we go out there to the range, and I'm teaching her how to shoot, and she squeezes the trigger, and then she puts the handgun down. And I said, what's wrong? She said, you didn't tell me that fire comes out the end of the gun. I said, okay. Now, fast forward, like 3 weeks later, now Jenny's shooting like she's like Clint Eastwood or Dirty Harry. And then she's telling me, that gun pulls to the right just a little bit. I was actually blessed enough to actually give her, have her shoot this thing called an MP5. It's a machine gun. It's like, oh, I love the way this shoots. It's very accurate. I'm like, who is this? The same one that said fire's coming out? And now you got this? This kind of tells you like the dichotomy of Jenny. Jenny was just like this, but she was adventurous. Even like our first trip, we went to Cancun. And Jenny was like not really a strong swimmer. but we got on a jet ski together. And she's like, oh, I'm scared about getting on a jet ski. And we get on the jet ski, and we're jumping waves. And she's like, oh, I'm scared. But she starts singing, and she sings louder. It's like, oh, I'm scared. Keep doing it again. It was great. And that makes me think about like the love of life and the adventures that Jenny had. And even I was sharing this with someone else. One of our very last trips, she always wanted to go to San Francisco. She wanted to go to Chinatown in San Francisco. So we get to Chinatown in San Francisco, and I'm thinking, okay, first thing she says, well, you didn't tell me it's hilly. I said, it's San Francisco, it's going to be hilly. Next thing you know, she said, well, we have to go to this one place, this bakery, so we can get these buns. I think it's sticky buns or like some pork buns. So we get there and it's closed. I was thinking, good, we can go someplace else. She goes, hold on, pulls out her phone. I've got a backup one, so we have to go there. So we waited in line for an hour, and I have it on my phone. I actually have 5 pictures of her eating, and she hated me catching pictures of her eating. I said, this is the best moment. I don't hear any sun coming out except for you chewing. And I always catch her eating stuff, but it was great having her there. And we got a chance to go to different places there, eat this one burger. Then we went to like this other place where she had some Mexican ice cream. One thing I can always say about Jenny, I think everyone can agree, is that we all have a piece of Jenny in our hearts, no matter if you knew her or you didn't, just by looking at everything and the interactions. There was so many pieces of her, and she's like the light that lights up this place. It's like the energy that she had. And I'm going to say, hey, there's times when I'm not going to say I'm perfect, and I know she's not going to say she's perfect, but I think sometimes we were a perfect match. And I love traveling with her. And I will share this other one because I just thought about it just now as a travel part. How I look sometimes, TSA would stop me. So we were on a trip one time, and I was thinking, Jenny asked me about something she was going to wear. She wore like this blouse, and it had all these D rings. I don't know if you know what a D ring is, but it looks like a D, and it was like made of metal. So she's wearing all these things, and we're actually heading into Heathrow Airport. And we're going through customs and passport control. So as you go through, you show your passport, and they say, hey, where's your destination? And then they take you through that, the x-ray machine and everything else, the metal detector. So as we go through, this is the one time I didn't get stopped, but Jenny does because she's wearing all those metal things on there. And we had to catch a plane to actually go to another city in the UK. So as she goes through, I'm smiling because I'm thinking, finally, it's not me. And then she says, are you going to wait for me? Because we had to catch a next plane. I said, nope, I'll see you later. Hope you have a good time. But I was joking, so I waited for her. I said, you see how that feels? Like, yeah. I said, remember I kind of said you might not want to wear it? She's like, yeah, I won't wear it again. She never wore it again after that. So anytime we travel, she never, ever wore that again. One thing that I always say about her is like she learned, she loved, and she lived, and she experienced so much. And we were so blessed to have her every day of our lives. And even in the tough times, I used to call her a chin warrior. And I think it was one of those things with her. She was always a warrior. She was always fighting. And just like Karen said, I told her one of the last few things that I told her before, as we're going through this, I said, we're going to keep going till the wheels fall off. We're going to keep going till the wheels fall off. And one thing that I think was even important for me is I have 4 tattoos. 2 of those tattoos are dedicated to Jenny. The first one says adapt and overcome. The other one says you'll never walk alone. And it also says Foxtrot Tango Sierra. And I don't care if this is recorded. It means, in military speak, it means fuck that shit. And I thought that kind of typifies Jenny, that she said, screw cancer. We're going to keep rolling. And I have a big globe and with a lightning bolt saying, hey, we're going to go travel. And I always told her, you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. So I think if anyone else has anything else, I think basically I want to thank everybody for coming here, and maybe say one more thing, for all of us to bow our heads to think about Jenny. You can say it in your own words. I'm just going to say a couple words. God, please bless all of us. Please bless Jenny, and all of us embrace what she's brought to us in our lives. Through Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. I want to thank everybody for actually allowing us to share in Jenny's life, because it was such a great life. And thank you.
Actually, I have heels on today, so on this stool I'm even higher than I usually am, so it's just not. Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Arroyo. I'm the funeral director here at Bell's Funeral Home, and I first want to start by thanking Chuck here. I'm starting to say Chuck by the last day.
Yeah.
It's been a journey in the last 2 weeks or so. It's been honestly a pleasure working with you and Miss Karen as well. I couldn't have done it without you guys, all your support. And I just want to say, today, besides the rain, the amount of tears that I've seen in this room today has been very endearing. And, people say all the time, don't cry, oh, it's going to be okay. It's really not going to be okay. It's never going to be okay. But tears are a good thing. Not only are they therapeutic, they're good for your heart, but it tells me, I'm just a layman. I didn't know Jenny. I didn't know her walk. I didn't know her trials or her tribulations. I could imagine what they were like. But the tears that I saw today paints the picture for me. It doesn't mean that because you didn't cry or I didn't see a tear coming out of your eye that she didn't touch your life and she wasn't special to you. It's just that I can't tell. But when I see tears, it tells me what she meant to you. It tells me the magnitude of the woman that she was. And for that, I'm grateful for your tears because I got a glimpse of who Jenny was. So there are no other words I can say to you except that I know in the last weeks or so you've probably been inundated on calls and emails and text messages and food and all those great things that people mean so very well when someone passes away. I encourage you all to keep doing that. Even for just a little bit more, he's gonna need it. The family's gonna need it. And that's one thing that I'm sure in our conversations that we had, even though it was in a dark parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Outside my house, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, they came to my house. That she was loved. But more importantly, she received love. And there's nothing greater than that. And like I told you, the first day that I met you, it's never, and that's why I played that song, it's never enough time. Never. I told you I just celebrated my 35th wedding anniversary. And I know that it was like yesterday. So I want you to hold on to that. And you found love. And I know that the reason that Jenny lasted as long as she did was because of the love that she received from you and the family. So take that from me to you as a huge thank you for being an amazing man, an amazing husband. Okay? So to you all, God bless you all. You all travel home safely today. It's nice, not so nice weather out there. I don't want to ever see any of you again. Especially you guys. But I'll be thinking about you all. I'll never forget Jenny. All right? So God bless you all. Good night. Finish up the food. Okay. I know that was my little magic trick.
I loved it.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty good. Thank you so much. I will. No, have a good night.
Okay.
Hello, thank you for allowing our family to serve your family in your time of need. Here at Bell's Funeral Home and Cremation, we will continue to pray for your family until we meet again. Remember, families only deserve the best.